CBS.
Up next on the 10 p.m. report, flames leap from a downtown Minneapolis building. The blaze goes 4 alarms. The mystery has been solved in Roseville following last night's evacuation of a shopping mall. Minnesotans, not many, go to the polls today. We'll have the results. And in Dimension, what is this thing called radon that's secretly seeping into thousands of Minnesota homes? We'll find out how to protect ourselves from that deadly gas.
I'm Colleen Needles in for Pat Miles.
And I'm Don Shelby. The 10 p.m. report is next.
Tony here, I got the Mott's. What do you got? Your parrot? Spike, we're talking new Mott's fruit packs. Chunky applesauce with juicy cherries, or strawberries, or pineapple. Spike, try the peach and you'll know how ridiculous your offer is. Oh, the parrot speaks 3 languages. Throw in singing lessons, and it's a deal.
New Mott's Fruit Packs, the best thing that ever happened to a kid's lunchbox.
On February 1st, a new customer came to Federal Express.
I'd like to send a package.
Where to?
Cub Foods. Overnight.
Okay. Do you have the package with you?
Introducing Fish in a Flash. Now, fish that were in the ocean one day will be in Cub Foods the next.
Package for you, Ed. Just drop it on my desk. Okay.
Fish in a Flash. Only at Cub Foods.
Contrary to popular belief, the dollar seems to be improving daily. For example, on Mondays at Burger King, you get a Whopper for 99 cents. Tuesdays, a double cheeseburger. Wednesdays, the dollar holds strong with a 99-cent Whopper Junior and regular fries. Thursdays, 2 hamburgers. The economic trend continues Friday with a 99-cent whaler. My advice is to enjoy this trend while it lasts.
The 99-cent daily specials available at participating Burger King restaurants.
We do it like you do it at Burger King.
Flames leap into the night sky over downtown Minneapolis. A 4-alarm fire continues to burn out of control at this hour. Thick black smoke fills the air all around.
WCCO Television presents Pat Miles, Don Shelby, Mike Fairborn, and Mark Rosen. This is the 10 p.m. report.
The smoke can be seen, it can be smelled throughout the whole downtown area.
The fire broke out shortly after 7 o'clock this evening. It is burning the Harvard Chambers building on 10th Street near Hennepin Avenue. Firefighters remain on the scene at this hour, as does Mike Walsher, who joins us now with the latest details. Mike?
Well, Colleen, flames continue to shoot through the top floor of the 4-story Harvard Chambers building at 10th and Harmon in downtown Minneapolis. The Minneapolis fire chief told me some moments ago that 14 companies are here, about 55 firefighters in all, and they will try to control this fire from above. All the firefighters have been removed from inside of this vacant building. It is just too dangerous to try to fight the fire from inside. At least 1 firefighter has been injured and taken to the hospital. Now, later on this evening, firefighters will go back in when it is safer and try to put out the flames. Dave Nimmer of our staff was on the scene earlier this evening when the fire erupted.
The blaze was discovered about 7 p.m., and the first rigs arrived within minutes.
Black and billowy. I mean, it's just like tires burning, you know what I mean? Thick black smoke.
Before the fire was knocked down, 5 ladder companies, 10 pumper trucks, and 55 firefighters were involved. Those who worked downtown hurried to get their cars out of harm's way. One of the more noticeable parts of this fire is the smoke which billowed over a good part of downtown, 4 blocks away at the Marriott Hotel. Bill Frothinger is a valet here, and it didn't take him long to notice the fire's effects.
Oh, we had to turn the lights on the cars. You know, we had to, once we got on the other side of the building here where most of the smoke was, it was like driving through fog.
Fire Chief Tom Dickinson said the fire was easier to fight because there's access to 3 sides of the building. It was harder to fight because of the choking smoke caused by the burning roofing material. Dave Nimmer, WCCO Television News.
And with me now live is the Minneapolis Fire Chief Tom Dickinson. Tom, what is the latest on your efforts to control this place?
Well, we're still attempting to control it with an exterior attack. Initially, we tried to go inside and pull the ceiling and get ahead of the fire, and we're not successful. And so we backed the firefighters out, and we're going to try to knock it down from the outside, and then we'll go back in.
Do you believe it was deliberately set, that it was arson?
Yes, I think there's a lot of indications that it was an arson fire.
Have you contained it or confined it to this one building?
Yes, fortunately, there's only one exposure, and that's to the rear, so we have a good advantage that way.
All right, very good. Thank you, Tom, for speaking with us live. The latest information from the scene here at 10th and Harmon. Don?
All right, thank you very much, Mike, and to the chief. Police are now saying it was a practical joke that led to the evacuation of the Rosedale shopping center that led last night's newscast. An 18-year-old St. Paul youth admits spraying mace in some of those stores. It was at this time last night we were telling you about the mall's evacuation. Firefighters here wearing oxygen masks had to get all the customers, employees, and pet store animals out of the building after it filled with the fumes. People complained of headaches, but at that point they had no idea what was causing it. Everyone was treated and released at St. Paul Ramsey Medical Center. Tonight, with the business back to normal, the mystery is solved. Shopkeepers are not laughing.
We were very concerned with our sales. You know, we lost 2 hours worth of sales, which was big to us. And the most important thing is we had 4 employees who had to be rushed to the hospital.
It wasn't all that amusing. We were more concerned about the animals rather than the amount of work involved, because we work with them so much, you get really attached to them. And we have problems with kids coming in and vandalizing the animals anyway, but this is by far the worst that we've ever had to deal with.
Most of the pets are back in the store tonight, and all of them seem to be doing okay. Mall business was slow this morning, but has since picked back up. The Ramsey County Attorney's Office is considering whether to file felony charges in this case. By the way, the 18-year-old who came forward with his admission did so only after someone reported seeing him spray that mace. Colleen?
Tonight, Wisconsin authorities have identified the Spooner, Wisconsin couple found yesterday, both shot to death. They are William and Wanda York, both 49 years old. A 17-year-old youth has been charged in the fatal shootings. Authorities will not say how the boy is related to the Yorks, but the suspect's friends say he is their son. Officials believe the couple was killed last week. In 2 weeks, the city of Bloomington will have a new police chief, one who is not new to command. He is Minneapolis Deputy Chief Bob Lutz, who's been a Minneapolis cop for 20 years and commanded all the department's major divisions. He's one of the city's most outspoken cops, available, blunt, and unafraid of public debate. It came as a surprise to some of his friends that he did not apply for the Minneapolis job, only Bloomington's.
I've had some good times and a very enjoyable career in Minneapolis. But I think at 45 years old, it's a good time for a change, and Bloomington offers the greatest opportunity.
Lutz will replace Jerry Putnam, who resigned last January to take a job in California.
This is also primary election night in Minnesota. Both parties picking candidates they want to run in the general election. Political reporter Pat Kessler is following tonight's results at the state office building in St. Paul. And Pat joins us now live. Pat?
Don, we're going to get to some of the results in a minute, but one of the big stories today is that they gave an election and no one came. Here at the Secretary of State's Tabulation Center in St. Paul, officials are saying that turnout around the state is very, very light. They had predicted a turnout of about 15%, and that in itself would have been the lowest since 1980. Now, if you wanted to vote today, you didn't have to wait in line. At St. Mark's Catholic Church in St. Paul, they were averaging about 7 voters per hour. The reason? Very few primary election contests. It was a very long day for the volunteers who worked for about 15 hours.
I think people should have more of a feeling of patriotism when we're running an election, that they should be a part of it.
Some results in northwestern Minnesota. Marv Hansen is leading Colin Peterson in that closely watched Democratic primary for the United States Congress. With 20% of the vote in the 7th district in northwestern Minnesota, Hansen is leading by 2,800 votes to about 1,900 votes for Colin Peterson. And Dave Durenberger and Skip Humphrey are moving to very easy victories in their respective primaries, and in an interesting race for the Minnesota Senate. In District 37, the Democratic Senate race in Apple Valley, very close race among the Democrats. Patrick Aiken and Barbara Savanik, very close, virtual dead heat. And in the Republican primary, Pat Pariseau has a lead with some of the votes in. We're going to be here all night long, though. The results will be coming in for quite some time, Don. We'll be here.
All right, and we'll be here. We've got a gang of people back here as well working on those election results, and we'll be back to talk to you just a little bit later, Pat. This hour, we are compiling the election results from all around the state, including the Twin Cities suburban races. We're also following the Wisconsin Senate primaries tonight. We will dedicate a special section of the news to the primary later on in our newscast, and that will follow Mark Rosen in sports. Colleen.
Tomorrow, a citizens group in Bloomington is expected to announce its next step in the fight against a garbage transfer station in Bloomington. Late last night, the City Council gave the go-ahead for the station's construction. Under the plan, garbage trucks would collect at homes, unload the waste at the Bloomington site, then larger trucks would pick up the garbage and deliver it to the garbage burning plant in downtown Minneapolis. At a news conference today at the Minneapolis Greyhound Bus Depot, Hennepin County Commissioner Randy Johnson talked up his proposal that the county buy one-way tickets out of town for people who come to Minnesota to get welfare assistance. The idea was approved today by the full county board. A report released today in Bloomington says only 11% of Minnesota's public schools offer the federally funded school breakfast program to their students. But more alarming, the report shows 1 out of every 6 elementary students comes to school without eating breakfast. Educators say children can't concentrate on an empty stomach, and the problems also lead to an increase in absenteeism. Tonight, a new agreement that will mean you'll be seeing Twins games next season here on Channel 4. The Twins and Midwest Communications signed an agreement under which both radio and now TV coverage will be handled by WCCO, ending 8 years of games on KMSP. More games will now be televised, up to 134 next year on Channel 4, WCCO cable, and an independent station. The agreement runs through 1993.
The highly acclaimed St. Paul Chamber Orchestra welcomed aboard its equally praised new director of music today. This afternoon, Maestro Christopher Hogwood could be found already at the podium, baton in hand, taking his new charges through their paces. Maestro Hogwood is a double threat in the music world. Not only is he praised as one of the most active conductors today, he's considered a virtuoso at the harpsichord, an instrument with which he has gained international acclaim. Christopher Hogwood debuts with the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra Friday.
Can you imagine a world without bread, older than your time, as fresh as tomorrow? Wheat, golden wheat, for every season of your life.
Bread is high in vitamins, low in fat and calories. Help yourself to bodybuilding nutrients.
Make wheat a part of your life.
Bring nutrition to your table.
Serve Master bread.
In Norway, they live by one rule. When they wash the outside of a window, they wash it from the inside. Introducing the H window, the window of Norway, now in Minnesota.
Serious shoppers from all over the world are ready and raring to get to Best Buy's Olympic sale. No one competes with our low, low prices, with savings on world-class electronics and appliances, including Panasonic products, like a Panasonic microwave at just $117.99, or a Panasonic vacuum for just $129.99. It's the Olympic sale at Best Buy. A sale this big comes around only once every 4 years.
Shop the low prices sale at Menards and get ready for winter. Here's the last storm and screen door you'll ever have to buy. The Forever Door by Emco. It's guaranteed for as long as you own your home. Now just $189. Manville fiberglass insulation is on sale too, with a Kraft vapor barrier back. Plus, there's $1 per roll mail-in rebate. Your cost is just $4.88 per roll. Hurry in to save this week at Menards.
We're helping you build America's heartland at Menards.
Tonight in Dimension, we keep reading and hearing all about the concerns of radon in homes, but how serious is it really?
We'll report on that and give you information about how you can detect it in your home.
The one story that has made its way into almost all the newscasts and newspapers in the past 24 hours was the Environmental Protection Agency's finding that many homes in this country, and particularly this state, had radon levels above the safe level. In fact, Minnesota and North Dakota are considered to be in the middle of what is called the radon belt. 46% of the 1,100 homes tested in Minnesota had dangerous levels. That was true for 63% of the homes in North Dakota.
Immediately, questions come to mind. What exactly is radon? It's a radioactive gas that's colorless and tasteless. It seeps from the ground into homes, potentially causing lung cancer for people inside. Why Minnesota and North Dakota? Well, both states have been found to contain unusually high levels of toxic radon because of large granite formations beneath our soil. Our coverage begins with more about radon from Mike Strand.
The invisible, odorless gas tends to seep into basements through cracks in the foundation. And as concentrations of radon build, exposure levels increase throughout the home. The key is to block any direct link from outside soil to the home and keeping fresh air in the house at all times. One objective, experts say, is to fill in holes around pipes and along walls and floors to prevent radon from being absorbed.
The sealing of cracks and holes in the floor and the walls is critical, and some of these other variables right now are somewhat experimental, that we're still shooting our way and trying to find out how effective they will be.
The chief medical concern is lung cancer. Experts believe radon exposure is responsible for 200 to 300 cases in Minnesota alone each year, and up to 20,000 nationally. But health isn't all that radon is affecting. Real estate attorneys say homeowners and contractors alike are already taking the radon threat into consideration when building, buying, or selling.
There's many things that buyers look into when they buy a home, whether they have good title, whether the soils are stable, whether the home is in good physical condition. Buyers may in the future want to include radon testing as another condition that has to be satisfied before they close on the purchase.
State health department officials, meantime, say the EPA's report was hyped and the potential for harm seriously overstated. Yet, while not wanting to diminish radon's impact as a long-term health threat, they are recommending that Minnesotans test their homes.
The public health threat is not immediate. It is a long-term, lifetime threat.
Health experts say homeowners and the state must take deliberate steps as a precaution to prevent radon from silently ambushing unsuspecting Americans in their own homes. I'm Mike Strand, WCCO Television News, the Twin Cities.
Now we want to talk about what is involved in testing for radon.
Well, it's measured in something called picocuries. More than 4 picocuries is considered unsafe. That level could be compared to having 200 to 300 chest x-rays every year, or smoking a half a pack of cigarettes a day. Jim Newman today looked into how you can go about testing for radon and keeping it out of your home.
Radon exposure may generally be worse in the winter. Warm houses produce a chimney effect in the cold. Any radon present in the soil can be sucked out of the ground and into the house.
The rise and fall of radon levels influenced by temperature and other environmental factors makes radon monitoring difficult. The best detection method measures radon over time, preferably 6 months to a year.
The recommended monitor is the Alpha Track radon detector available from the American Lung Association. It requires time, 3 months to a year, to get a reading. There is a charcoal-based monitor that works more quickly. It can get a reading in a week, but it can be affected by humidity. The American Lung Association says the charcoal monitor is unreliable. The Alpha Track detector consists of a clear piece of plastic in a case. The alpha particles, known to cause cancer, leave tracks on the plastic. Sending the detector to a laboratory, lab techs can count the tracks and thus determine the radon level. High radon levels can be reduced. One effective protection is to seal cracks in the foundation. Ventilate your home's foundation using a fan to suck air and radon from under the house. Install a powerful circulation system in your home to bring in fresh and remove potentially contaminated air. Basements generally show highest radon levels. Radon levels usually shrink by half for each floor one climbs above the basement. Jim Newman, WCCO Television News, reporting.
Jim also tells us that you can get a pamphlet explaining the radon problem from the Minnesota Department of Health. Just phone the department at 623-5348. To buy an Alpha Track radon detector, send a check for $24.95 to the American Lung Association, 1829 Portland Avenue South, Minneapolis, 55404.
From the people who taught you to expect a lot of car for the money, well, here comes another lesson. Before you buy a car, test drive a Fox at your local Volkswagen dealer.
New Ranger herbicide, the better answer for quackgrass than high atrazine rates. Ranger has double action control to stop tops and roots. Ask about New Ranger.
If you're a temporary employee, this is the hottest ticket in town. Announcing Dolphin Temporary Services Ticket to Paradise giveaway. You could win a trip for two to fabulous Sydney, Australia. Or use of a new Dodge Caravan for a year. Or $1,000 cash. So register with Dolphin today. Come November 30th, you just may hold a ticket to paradise.
Newhart. Guilty. On Newhart. Newhart. On Newhart. On Newhart. Newhart. Newhart.
I gotta be me. No wonder the Indians massacred these people. Okay. Beep. Nimrodi home. Make that pelvis talk. And you shake it off.
Newhart. 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 On Newhart.
Newhart, premiering October 3rd on Channel 4.
At Minneapolis Children's, we use the most sophisticated hardware, as well as some pretty user-friendly software.
Come to Nordic Oaks and browse through beautiful European-style solid oak furniture handcrafted locally. Perfection has never been closer than Nordic Oaks.
A massive wildfire continues to rage in California's Gold Rush country. About 100 homes have been destroyed and hundreds more are threatened by the blaze that has already charred more than 46 square miles.
And in Texas, residents are boarding up Gulf Shore properties as they brace for Hurricane Gilbert. In Louisiana, oil companies evacuated thousands of workers from rigs in the Gulf. The experts still don't know if or when Gilbert and his 140-mile-an-hour winds will hit the U.S. coast. The giant storm has already ripped through Cuba. These Cuban television pictures can show you the damage. Gilbert caused extensive damage and up to 30 deaths when it swept over Jamaica and the Cayman Islands yesterday.
Gilbert is a
175-mile-an-hour winds
Wow.
now, so it has continued to strengthen. Category 5, we've only had 2 Category 5 hurricanes hit the United States since 1900.
The important thing to remember about that is there is no Category 6.
That's right. Category 5 is the highest. These are the criteria for a Category 5. Look at that central pressure, 27.17 and 155-mile-an-hour winds. Now look at what old Gilbert is down there right now. Gilbert has 175-mile-an-hour winds, 26.28. That is the lowest barometric pressure of any Atlantic hurricane that we've had so far. Storm surge right now is around 15 feet. And what kind of destruction it's going to do, we don't know. The deadliest hurricane ever, the Galveston hurricane back in 1900, 6,000 plus deaths. So the people getting out of there and making preparations are doing it wisely. The costliest, Agnes, all up along the East Coast, $2 billion plus in damage. And since 1900, as we said, only 2 Category 5 hurricanes have hit the United States. But interestingly enough, 67% of all past Category 4 or 5 hurricanes have either hit Florida or Texas. How's that? This was some of the action along the East Coast and along the Gulf Coast. Even though the hurricane right now is about 800 miles away from any U.S. land, still causing some high surfs building up, and the breezes are picking up already, especially along the south coast of Florida and Louisiana as well. Right now, Gilbert is located just off the south tip of Cuba, the southwestern tip of Cuba, headed toward the Yucatan Peninsula, and it looks like Cancun is right in its path. It'll move then out into the southern Gulf, and where it goes from there, nobody really knows at this time. You can see the track in the last few hours, moving from Jamaica down here, heading toward Yucatan, and after it passes into the southern Gulf, it's still going to take 2 or 3 days before it reaches any part of U.S. land if it begins to curve to the north. They usually do, but exactly how far we still don't know. But preparations, as we said, are certainly underway down there. Well, our weather guide today, we have had some pleasant weather and beautiful outside except for the smoke late this evening. And Kent Westberg captured the fountains in downtown Minneapolis for us. We hit 75 degrees in downtown Minneapolis as well as the airport today, and St. Paul with 42 degrees for an overnight low. No rainfall again, and sunrise and sunset there for tomorrow. Our weather map for tomorrow, we do have high pressure over us, so another nice sunny day just like we had today. We've had a little weak front that's going to pass on through us, and maybe keep us a couple of degrees cooler than we were today. A low pressure area out in the west is going to move to the south of us, and that is at least going to bring us a chance of some clouds in here by late tomorrow night. Still cool in the west, highs in the 70s for us tomorrow, 60s up north, hot in the south, but watch for clouds and temperatures begin to drop as that hurricane begins to affect the Gulf. Tonight, clear and cool here in the Twin Cities, 42 for an overnight low with northwest winds at 5 to 10. Tomorrow, it'll be sunny and pleasant, 72 degrees for high and northeast winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour. For Wednesday, mostly clear, a low of 50. And for Thursday, as those clouds come in, we'll turn cloudy, and our high temperature will be around 75 degrees. The extended outlook then for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, highs in the 70s, overnight lows in the 50s, partly cloudy skies with little or no precip. Too bad we can't bring some of the moisture from the hurricane up for the fires without all the devastation.
You know, what I didn't find out was, what was the other 5? Was it Camille?
Camille,
okay.
Yes.
All right.
All right, thank you, Mike. The Twins' championship dreams may be fading, but there are high hopes for starting pitcher Les Straker, who takes the mound tonight in Seattle. Mark Rosen will be up next.
Because we only have our minds on copiers, meters solve problems others have overlooked. That's why our small copier has a stationary top. Meter, all we make are great copiers.
It's time.
Come drive a Mazda.
It's year-end clearance time. Time to get the deal of the year on a new Mazda. And factory-to-dealer cash incentives can add hundreds to your savings on a Mazda truck. It's time. Time to clear out all the 88s. Mazda's year-end clearance time.
Come drive a Mazda. Do it now.
See your Mazda dealer in Richfield, Brooklyn Center, White Bear, St. Paul, and Minnetonka.
What you're about to see could make frying bacon obsolete. Hormel microwave bacon. Our unique packets actually broil the bacon in your microwave while they remove the grease. What could be better than that?
Did you know you can brew more brew here than in Milwaukee? Because NSP electric rates are lower than Milwaukee's. You can light more bright lights here than Hollywood. Because our electricity costs 17% less. You get more wind here than even Chicago, because NSP rates are 37% less. In fact, our rates are among the country's lowest, and that's a good place to be. Creative energy, NSP.
When it comes to Twins baseball, we're batting 1,000. For world champion Minnesota Twins baseball, turn to WCCO Radio 830.
A lot of people are really happy around here today because of the news that Mr. Pohlad and Mr. Bell put their names on a signature with the CCO family.
I think this contract was probably more complicated than the one Frank Viola signed with the Twins. By the time you're talking radio, cable, independent station, which is yet to be named, that will be involved in the broadcast, and of course WCCO television. I think the real highlight of this contract, without getting into all the details, is that virtually every road game will be televised next season, either on Channel 4, WCCO cable, or that yet to be named independent station. It'll be about a month before we'll know that station, but we're obviously very happy that the Twins are coming here to CCO television for the next 5 years. Meanwhile, when the Twins return home on Thursday, they will begin their final drive to set an all-time single-season attendance mark in the American League. Not many people in the seats in Seattle tonight, where the Mariners are playing out the season against the Twins. Alvin Davis's base hit scored Seattle's first run off Les Straker. In fact, it's their only run. Seattle leads this game 1-0 in the 6th. What's really been disturbing over the past couple of weeks is how silent the Twins' bats are. Tonight, Terry Taylor, who has pitched very little all season for Seattle, has the Twins handcuffed. The dog days of September have set in for the Twins at the plate. 1-0 Seattle now in the 6th inning of play. Elsewhere in the American League, Texas and Oakland scoreless in the 3rd. Oakland's magic number now just 8. Boston, first place Red Sox, 6-4 over Baltimore. They had that 4.5 game lead over both Detroit. The Tigers lost again tonight. And the Yankees, by winning now 4.5 back of Boston, they beat Cleveland 5-4. Milwaukee hanging in there 4-0 over Chicago. It has been a rough couple of weeks for Detroit. Alan Trammell took a Dave Steve pitch on the wrist. He suffered a deep bruise. Trammell has been banged up all year. The Tigers can't afford to lose Trammell if they want to break out of their slump. They've lost 18 of their last 22. On the opposite end of the spectrum, Jim Rice blasted his 8th career grand slam for the Red Sox. The Sox have won 7 of 8 and own that 4.5 game lead in the American League East. In the National League, Pittsburgh, still trailing the Mets by 9, shut them out tonight 1-0. Atlanta and the Dodgers scoreless in the second. Houston losing to Cincinnati 5-2. The North Stars are going to make Dino Ciccarelli pay money for wanting more money. They officially suspended him and will fine him $250 for every day of training camp he has missed. As for trade possibilities, Pittsburgh is still interested, and Dino's agent Ron Seltzer said the Kings would have traded for Dino, but their priority is goaltending. Meanwhile, the North Stars are working out in relative obscurity in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where just about everything is new with the team, including their uniforms. Tom Hanneman has more.
If practice makes perfect, and most folks agree that it does, then the North Stars should be a much improved team this season. But then they really couldn't perform much worse than they did last year. Pierre Paget hopes to turn things around this season by emphasizing defense and hard work. Right now, he has the Stars practicing from 9 to 5 each day.
The theme of this camp is one of change. That, of course, comes from necessity. Pierre Paget has 61 players here in Kalamazoo today, and over half of them have never played a single game for the North Stars.
Those new faces have created an intensely competitive atmosphere here. And along with that intensity, a positive but realistic outlook toward the future.
You know, I don't think anybody's on any pipe dreams. We're just looking to improve this year. Once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen, but the regular seasons we're going to prove to ourselves and to the rest of the league that we're a contender, not a last place team.
The veterans on this team have done their best to put past failures behind them, but some of the memories are tough to shake.
Well, you know, I don't know if you really want to forget them totally. You want to remember how bad it was and try to make things better. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take us all time. But if we come with a positive attitude every day to practice or games or whatever, things will eventually turn our way.
There are still many questions to be answered about the new North Stars. Questions that could be answered as early as Friday night when the exhibition season opens in Saskatoon against the Canadian Olympic team. With photographer Rick Olson, Tom Hanneman, WCCO Television Sports, Kalamazoo.
And the North Stars regular season will open October the 6th.
Hey, you didn't get a signing bonus, did you, or anything with this contract? I'm sorry, Mark.
Funny man.
Okay, up next, we're going to have all the primary results you'd ever want, plus a live report on the hot race going on in Wisconsin.
Well, how do I look?
In the daytime, nighttime, playtime, and happy times. Carson's is for me.
Too flashy, right?
Inviting, enticing, delighting, and so
This one?
exciting. Carson's is
Oh, what do you know? You're only 3 years old.
It used to be, when investors got into the stock market, they could almost plan on things going one way. But unfortunately, things don't always come out as planned. So if you're looking for an investment you can count on, come to TCF for a variety of insured savings plans that offer a guaranteed rate and keep yourself well covered.
Mr. Danza, we're down 24-0. You've got to play for us. Yeah, we're desperate.
Everybody's got to try it right. It doesn't matter who you are. It's going to be a tough fight. So give yourself the greatest taste.
Would you like a diet right? It's salt-free.
I know it's salt-free.
He knows it's salt-free. It's mine's Lord. It's Body Shop.
Everybody's got a diet right.
While most of the primary races in Minnesota lacked a little bit in the excitement category as well as turnout, that is not the story in Wisconsin, where Senator William Proxmire's seat is up for grabs this year. WCCO's Alan Cox joins us now from WEAU-TV in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Alan?
Don, no one has claimed victory yet in either of the two Senate primaries, but it appears that the best way to succeed today was to spend a lot of money. In the Democratic race, with nearly half the precincts in Wisconsin reporting, the lead is held by Herbert Cole, the millionaire owner of the Milwaukee Bucks professional basketball team. He has a 9 percentage point lead over former Governor Tony Earl. Former NFL Players Union Representative Ed Garvey is in the third place, much further back, along with two other candidates. Herbert Kohl ran the most expensive campaign on record in Wisconsin through the end of August. He'd spent $3 million of his money, and he had run into a lot of charges by opponents that he was trying to buy the seat. He accused his opponents in the final days of running a negative campaign against him. The big question now, can Wisconsin Democrats unite behind whoever wins the Senate race and in time to hold the seat that Proxmire held and also to carry the day for Michael Dukakis in Wisconsin? The Republican side, nearly half the precincts reporting a substantial lead for Susan Engelleiter. She is a legislative leader from suburban Milwaukee. Her opponents accused her of being too moderate for Wisconsin Republicans. One called her Sukakis, but she appears to have carried the day here in Wisconsin, and that is the scene set for the election in November. And that's the latest from Wisconsin, Don.
Okay, thank you very much, Alan. Colleen?
Well, even though the turnout in today's primary was extremely low, there are a number of results to report this evening.
And we're going to start out with the U.S. Senate races, and we're going to begin with the independent Republican. We're going to tell you that Dave Durnberger